Hear ye, hear ye, hear ye. All persons having anything to do before the Honorable Beverly Cannoni, Justice of the Superior Court, holding in Dedham within and for the County of Norfolk. Draw near, give your attendance, and you shall be heard. God save the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. This court is in session. Please be seated.
All right, all right, all right. Woo! Good morning, my friends. Happy Monday. What's up, y'all?
It's Monday, May 12th, and
we can't miss the Karen Reed coverage. So that's why we're here from the condo telling you about day 14.
About to start day 3 of Trooper Bukhenik on the stand. He has put in 2 full days already.
we are going to be resuming trial with the, continued and extended cross-examination of Sergeant Yuri Bukhenik.
I hope y'all are ready for round 3 of Alan Jackson versus Yuri Bukhenik.
Why? Well, because the defense isn't done yet.
And, are we even close to the end yet?
Hit that like button. Here we go.
Did you ever, during the course of the investigation in which you were a part, the sustained findings, the internal affairs investigation, did you ever review Colonel Noble's determinations about your subordinate, Michael Proctor?
Objection.
Did you review them?
No, Your Honor, I did not.
Really? Really? Really?
No,
Yes.
Your Honor, I did not.
Oh, please.
Bullshit.
Call him bullshit.
No, Your Honor, I did not.
BS. He's your really? You're his supervisor. You didn't review the internal affairs report that fired him and dishonorably
What would
discharged
Colonel
him?
Noble
Liar.
call Michael Proctor's title in this case?
In the sustained findings against Proctor, they call him the lead investigator. They call him the lead investigator. But he's like, I didn't review it.
We looked at it Friday. They called him the lead investigator in his termination papers.
He did call him the lead investigator. So did Bev.
You certainly did nothing. You took no action to stop him from potentially looking for naked pictures of my client, correct?
That's correct.
In fact, last week you testified that in your view, Michael Proctor handled himself in this investigation with integrity. That's what
That's
you said.
the question.
Correct?
That's correct.
Do you stand by that testimony?
The investigation was handled with integrity and honor.
Wow, dude.
Do you stand by your testimony that
Wow,
Michael
bro.
Proctor conducted himself during the course of this investigation with integrity?
Yes, I do.
Then why was he fired?
Unfucking
He
believable.
also called her retarded, correct?
That is what's written.
That's what's written? That's a very passive way of saying it, Sergeant. That's what's written, or that's what he wrote.
Or you could have just said yes. Yes is an easy answer. He's trying to deflect this.
Do you stand?
And again, that's evasive. You're not answering the question, which is why Alan Jackson just keeps bringing it back. You're not going to win this way with Alan Jackson. You may win with a rookie attorney, and you may try to answer different questions and form it a different way. But he should have known by now, Bukhenik. He should know by now he's not going to win this with Jackson. He's going to keep refocusing him back to the question. He's going to be forced to answer the question. And then all you're doing to the jury is showing that you really don't want to answer the question.
Okay, this really is the hill that he wants to die on, that Michael Proctor conducted this investigation with integrity and honor. Because why? Because you were his supervisor, and it's on you that you didn't discipline him or say that's inappropriate, and you guys never thought that this text message chain was going to see the light of day. But oh wow, too bad, so sad, because the feds got involved.
Here's the thing. You've got a group text where they are demeaning Karen Reed, and we haven't even gotten to the rest of it, and joking about no nudes so far going through the phone extraction.
And that's what you read.
I have no memory of reading that. I acknowledged him going through the phone on my Apple Watch. I have no memory of him.
He acknowledged it with the thumbs up button. So guys, if you could acknowledge this stream, I would really appreciate it. There is the acknowledge button below. It's the one that looks like this.
I don't remember reading that text.
As you sit here now, do you think that text is appropriate?
No, it is not.
Do you think it's professional?
No, it is not.
Do you think it shows integrity?
That text message does not show integrity.
Do you think it shows honor? A word I expect you hold dear.
That text message does not show honor.
Did it show integrity in your view when your subordinate Michael Proctor called Miss Reed retarded?
Objection.
I'll allow that one.
I believe that as a U.S. citizen, he has the right to comment. That's his First Amendment right.
Oh, fuck off.
That's not how the First Amendment works.
We believe in the First Amendment. And yet you, sir, you are a victim of Aiden Carney, who is facing felony charges for intimidating you with what? His words? And yet you just said that you believe in the First Amendment and people's right to criticize.
I couldn't agree more. I think Michael Proctor should be able to say whatever he wants. I do not think we should put Michael Proctor in jail for saying that about somebody. I don't think that we should at all.
Let me put it this way. You have a First Amendment right to call a cop an asshole. Like if you run into Yuri Bukhenik and you go, hey, asshole, that is you exercising your First Amendment rights.
But does that mean people aren't responsible for what they say?
But that only protects you from from government action, right? That only protects you from, you can't be put in jail for calling Bukhenik an asshole.
That things can't happen to you, like you can get fired for what you say?
But let's say you go to your boss, right? And you go, hey, boss. And he goes, yeah. And you go, you're an asshole. He can go, and you're fired.
The First Amendment does not protect me from figuring out you're a jerk, right?
He has a First Amendment right at work to call the suspect retarded. Nobody's buying that one.
It's a work text. There are restrictions in how you comport yourself at work.
You do not have unrestricted, unlimited First Amendment rights on the job.
Like, you don't have a right to say whatever the hell you want on the job, because you do actually have professionalism standards.
Even he knew, even he realized, oh shit, that was desperate. That's not going to fly.
But he thinks like he was being slick there by saying, Mr. Lawyer Guy, how about the First Amendment? It's like, what?
Brian Higgins then was at 34 Fairview, and he leaves at around 1:15 in the morning. Now, where does he go? He goes to the Canton Police Department, which is a little bit suspect. Why in the world would you go to the Canton Police Department at 1 o'clock in the morning after you've been drinking the whole day? Wouldn't you want to go home and go to sleep?
It's consistent with a cellular device, possibly a phone or a tablet.
Okay. If we can move on, please.
Higgins testified he made no phone calls in the early morning hours and that the phone calls with Brian Albert were butt dials back and forth at 2:22. This is at 1:34:53.
He also testified that there was no phone calls that were made that night. After he left 34 Fairview, no phone calls at all were made.
Am I wrong, or they tried to say the first time he was plowing out these other cars or something?
He said some bullshit that he wanted to move something.
Oh, yeah, move
Didn't
cars.
get snowed in. Some kind of bullshit.
Yeah.
Kind of bullshit.
Well, the excuse that we heard from in the last trial was that he had to go move one of his cars.
A lot of cars being moved right now.
Said he was moving cars so that they could plow the parking lot. Didn't see that.
None of us are surprised. We knew it was bullshit when he said it in the first trial. Sitting there on the stand with a fucking lawyer next to him, he's going, I want to move some cars. I just want to move some cars. Like, nobody believes you, dude.
Do we see him moving cars?
I mean, not thus far, but that's what.
When's all the car moving happen?
The snow is definitely coming down. That is clear. He is not walking very quickly. I mean, in this kind of snow, I'm definitely not moseying. That is a mosey.
I bet that guy farts all the time.
Higgins in the parking lot, going from car to car, getting what he said looks like a duffel bag and maybe a snow broom, I think he said. I don't know what that is.
Does it look like he's moving stuff in between cars? I mean, I just see doors opening, lights on. Very strange. Very strange behavior.
So I don't know. I don't know what he was doing, but it's awfully suspicious, right? Like if they don't call Brian Higgins, he's the guy flirting with Karen Reed, you know, wrestling around, mucking it up, whatever, grappling at the waterfall, texting Karen Reed, getting ghosted, texting John O'Keefe, clearly wanting John O'Keefe to come. He's feet away from John O'Keefe when he dies. He doesn't see John O'Keefe. He goes to Canton PD. He's there for 5 minutes. He's walking around. He's moving stuff around. It just looks, he's on the phone. Why? Like it just looks really suspicious. Then we have Hank Brennan basically going through all the evidence of the case again. You had a broken taillight, broken cocktail glass, defendant saying I hit him, interviewing Higgins, McCabe's, Alberts, 34 Fairview was not a crime scene. John O'Keefe never went in. That's what all the witnesses said. And he basically retells the whole case, all the evidence, and why Yuri Bukhenik said all the evidence points in one direction.
Okay. And then also, finally, he said that the text messages between Brian Higgins and John O'Keefe do not show any motive. So that was the extent of the redirect.
Well, today's gotten real interesting at the end here. For all of you that were like, this redirect's boring, then it just goes whoop.
You look through John O'Keefe and Brian Higgins' phone conversations, you look through their texts. Did you see a motive? Were they fighting? Were they angry at each other? Were there any issues? Did you see a motive at all? And he said no. And that was the end of redirect. And I thought that wasn't a bad redirect, you know? But I thought it opened the door for an amazing first recross question.
Alan Jackson got up on recross and he said, hold on a second, let's talk about Brian Higgins for a second. Brian Higgins was interviewed by you, but where was he interviewed? He was actually interviewed in his lawyer's house. So he felt that he needed to have a lawyer in this case for some reason.
This is new. This is new. We didn't know Higgins was, we knew he was interviewed somewhere in Sharon at the last trial, but it was never brought out that it was his lawyer's office, right? Didn't some people speculate that it may have been rehab or some other medical facility? But now we know he was interviewed at his lawyer's office on February 3rd. Wow.
Oh, this just gets better and better. Oh, starting spicy on recross.
Did that stick out to you at all? And his lawyer was present for the interview?
Then he talks about where did you interview Brian Higgins? At his lawyer's house with his lawyer. And I'm not one to hate on somebody having a lawyer there. But when you're a witness in a case like this and you're going to try to make it look bad, is what it is.
He lawyered up but quick for a guy who had nothing to hide, didn't he? Wow. Okay.
And also you said you didn't find any sort of motive. You didn't find any sort of motive Brian Higgins would have any reason to hurt John O'Keefe. Really?
The defense is like, so you say motive, do you? Let's talk about that.
But did you read those text messages? Did it look like they were both interested in the same girl, possibly? Or that Brian Higgins was more interested in this girl and maybe she's not going to come along with him because she's kind of stuck with John O'Keefe?
What about a motive to confront him about a girl he was interested in? Did you see that?
You just testified that you know the content of John O'Keefe and Brian Higgins' text messages because you just said you looked through it all and there was no motive, right? Did Brian Higgins tell John O'Keefe that he wanted Karen Reed, that he and Karen Reed kissed, that they had been flirting, that he wanted her that night, he wanted her attention, he was trying to text her, that she had ghosted him? Did he say that in his text messages to John O'Keefe? No, you didn't find any of that in there?
Do you know that John O'Keefe didn't say to him, yo, fucker, why are you texting back? I thought we were friends. WTF? You said that they were friends. So from the perspective of Higgins, in continuing to engage in the texting, if that's your friend, is kind of fucked. Like, hey, if she's texting you, why don't you either stop texting her or tell me, oh, I know, because you were interested in seeing if maybe, just maybe, you could bang. And I think that maybe Karen Reed led him in the direction of maybe he had a chance. And instead of saying, that's my buddy, even if there is a chance, I'm not DTF on the chance, he didn't. He was like, I mean, I might could.
Could you get, in your experience, stains on the back of pants from being dragged?
I've never dragged anybody, so from my experience, I can't tell you.
Once again, just say yes. Very clearly, just say yes. You have just explained that your buttock hitting the ground on the left side or whatever. It's like, yeah, of course. Yeah, you can get from being dragged, slide, you know what? Just say yes. That's so simple.
I didn't ask you if you've ever dragged anybody. You've never murdered anybody either, but you're a homicide investigator. Right?
I mean, he's gotten dragged through days of cross-examination.
My common sense dictates that it was not a drag, Mark, because it would have linear characterizations, and it would be both buttocks that are engaged in contact with the ground while being dragged.
He was being dragged, and he had something in his pocket.
Holy shit, he sounds like he's being coached, G. Did you hear what he just said? I don't even think he knows what he just said. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That came out of his mouth, that came out way too smooth. And he's using big words now. And you know what we say right along is you start using big words, we take that as a sign of disrespect. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because I don't understand him.
So he thinks it's grass stains on John's back left buttock, but for some reason it would only leave grass stains on one side if it's a car accident and not if he was dragged. I don't understand the logic at all.
Being dragged, and he had something in his pocket, or being dragged at an angle. Being dragged through a crease spot. It was only on the left. What about all those possibilities?
Again, my opinion, common sense dictates it was not the case.
The thing is, though, in a dramatic situation like that, you're not going to grab him by the shoulders. You're not going to grab him by the legs. If there's multiple people that are dragging him, you're going to grab one arm, one leg, and you're going to drag what you can grab, right?
Look, the grass stains were pretty big and they're pretty apparent.
But you certainly didn't take any action to investigate the forensically.
And there's grass stains on
What
both
those stains
sides,
actually
by the way.
I did not know.
By the way, can you lose a shoe from being dragged?
Oh shit. Oh shit, the shoe.
It depends. I guess you can, depending on how loose it is.
Does drinking alcohol increase the likelihood or increase the possibility of getting into an altercation?
Absolutely. Liquid courage.
I would say, in my experience, in my opinion, the alcohol could become a social lubricant and exacerbate emotions. But to speak in a definitive form here, I can't.
You've heard of beer muscles. That's a common phrase, right?
Never heard that before, no.
Beer guts. You ever heard that one?
I've heard of beer gut, but not beer guts.
Having the guts to walk up to someone you might not otherwise walk up to in a bar because you've had too much to drink. Is that what beer muscles could mean?
Yuri Bukhenik, he kind of steps in it when he helps Jackson find the words he's looking for. Jackson's been crossing this guy for like 3 days, right? So much going on. You brain fart so often. It's like when I talk about when I say stuff or miss stuff on this, it's like Jackson couldn't get the right words out, but Yuri Bukhenik helps him out and proves he knows what Jackson's talking about.
I would say maybe liquid courage.
There you go.
What is liquid courage?
Same thing. Liquid courage.
Giving you
We'll go with
courage that truly shouldn't be there.
That you might not otherwise have if you weren't drinking.
Yeah.
Is that it, Mr. Jackson? You said finally. That's what I'm wondering.
She's like, is that it? And he's like, no. She's like, is that it? And he's like, no. She's like, is that it? I just want to go home.
All right.
Oh, she's done. So everyone else has to be done. So Brennan doesn't get the last word like he usually does.
It looks like at the end of day 14, Sergeant Bukhenik is done with his testimony. Attorney Brennan, I think, really tried to do some damage control on redirect.
He could not rehabilitate Yuri Bukhenik.
I don't know how much damage was controlled.
It didn't do anything to help Yuri Bukhenek's credibility.
With that, Law Nerds, I'm going to wrap up for this fine day.